to manually explain what is going on and why I'm farming crit rate Glamoth for Seele. We need to... Is my... Oh, okay, my mouse is visible now. Let's go, okay. So, this is the amount of crit rate that a naked Seele without any relics will have from the next patch if you have a Lightcon, Fushuan and Anabi in the team. She's going to be at 50% crit rate without doing anything. Like, you do not give her any relic, she's at 50% crit rate. These are the potential min and max rolls of crit rate in relics. They go from 2.5 to 3.2. Some people will tell you, well, the average, I don't care about the average because that's not how RNG works. It's a value. It's a value range that goes from here to here with an average value in between, but the average value doesn't matter when it comes to RNG. So, if all your relics have crit rate as a substat, and all of them roll the minimum, you're going to get 15% crit rate from relics. If all of them roll the max, you're going to get 19.2. More than likely, you know, somewhere in between. Meaning that this is going to be a crit rate for a Seele with the relics that do not have a single roll in crit rate. They only have the roll on the relic as a single substat. If all the relics... Let's change color again. We have a very colorful MS Paint experience today. If all the relics roll even just once in crit rate, the range is going to be this. It will double, and it will go from 30 at the minimum to 38.20. This is a scenario that for a lot of people is very likely. Because I believe that most people will have relics that roll at least once in crit rate. Like, everyone likes to be, oh, whoa, me, it never rolls in crit rate. It's bullshit. We all have some relics that rolled 3 times in crit rate, occasionally 4 times in crit rate. We have some of those. So, for me, considering relics that have crit rate as a substat and that roll once in crit rate, no more than once, is very realistic. So my guess is a lot of people from the next patch will have Seeles that look like this. With 80 to 88.2 crit rate with very little requirements in terms of god tier relics. And if your Seele has this amount of crit rate in game, you know, from all these external sources plus relics, then the 8% crit rate from, what is it called, Rutilant Arena loses quite a bit of value. And here are the bottom, there are the 2 builds that I'm using for Seele. One has a high crit rate, one has lower crit rate. The one that has lower crit rate starts at 76. If I give 12% from Fushuan and 15% from Anabi, I go at 103% crit rate. So it's already a bit too much and it completely wastes Eidolon 1. And it does nothing if you're already at 100%. The other build that I have will become borderline a meme when Anabi is released, because it's a build at 84% crit rate, which is the one that I'm using right now. You had 12 from Fushuan, you had 15 from Hanabi. No, 111% crit rate is... I am basically wasting 5 subsets rolls in crit rate that are completely wasted. Arguably more than that. Because 98% crit rate is wasted, 96 is wasted, it's too much crit rate. And the Eidolon 1 is completely wasted as well. And let me hide the paint just for a moment. You understand completely, yeah. MS Paint is goated. If I go to the relics, let's compare this with a Glamoth piece. Compare. Ignore the stats, of course. Please, for the love of God, ignore the fact that my Quantum Orb from the Rotland Arena is insane. But if from this set we pretend that crit rate 8% does not exist, because we already overcap crit rate, or we are already at 90% and we don't really care too much about that amount of crit rate, Here we have 20% damage increase on the normal attack. It doesn't do anything for Seele. Yeah, it helps a little bit, but whatever. And 20% for the skill. So essentially, the set bonus of this becomes 20% skill damage. Here, on the other hand, there is 18% damage on normal attack, 18% damage on skill, 18% on ultimate, and 12% attack. Attack is never wasted. It does not have a hard cap. It's not like crit rate. Crit rate, when you are past 100%, if you're doing it from the memes, that's great. But if you are at 105% crit rate on purpose, you know, there are some specialists that can help you. They can take care of your issues. But attack percentage is always good. And it's the same amount of substat rolls, by the way. 8% crit rate is free substat. 12% attack 12% attack percentage is free substat, but overall the bonus is better. And it's the reason why I'm farming why I'm farming Glamoth. Because I'm hoping that somehow my Seele will manage to replace with these two pieces, spoiler, it's going to take an extremely painful amount of time, with something better for Glamoth. Now, considering that I can lose this, and I will still be gaining 7 from, what's her face, Anabi. Let's pretend that I lose 7% crit rate here, so my build overall doesn't change. I need pieces with like 5 or 6 crit rate, meaning 2 high rolls in crit rate and 2 high rolls in crit damage. So we need a pretty good quantum piece here. And something similar to this here from the Glamoth set. I am not even close to that right now. I do not have an orb, a quantum orb piece that is comparable. Like, not even close. We can go here, we can go quantum. This is what I have. This is completely useless for Seele. This is completely useless for Seele, so I do not have a quantum orb piece for Seele. And if we move to this, main stat attack percentage, the best one that I have is the one that I showed earlier, which is this one. If we compare them, the difference is not insane. This one from the Rutilant Arena is a bit better. Again, the difference is not insane, but it's a little bit better. The main advantage that this has is it has a slightly higher crit rate. It will make up for the loss in crit rate from, you know, switching set to one that does not give us crit rate. But the main problem for me is going to be this. Replacing this is going to be extremely painful. I'm also getting to the point that farming for Rutilant Arena doesn't make a lot of sense, because I do not know new characters what kind of relics they will use. And I do believe that new characters released in patch 2.0, 2.1, 2.2 will get new relic sets. It's what MiHoYo tends to do. Like, new characters eventually, sometimes right before or soon after the release, they get new best in slot relics. I really don't believe that someone like, I don't know, Acheron will be released in patch 2.2 and her best relic set is something that was released 8 months before her character. It's possible, it's MiHoYo, but I find it very unlikely. So that was an explanation of why I'm farming Glamoth.